Hi and welcome back. And in this section, section 2.4, we're going to be looking at what the point-slope form is for a line. So let's just organize our thinking here for a second. So the two forms we've talked about so far, we haven't really talked much about standard form, but we've seen lines that are in that form. But the more important form that we've looked at is y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do now is look at another form, which is in some ways more important, and that's called point-slope form. So here, let's suppose that we know the slope of a line is m, and we also know that it has a point, a special point, which we denote by x sub 1, y sub 1. So we have a point, and we have a slope. And given those two pieces of information, our goal is to try to find the equation of the line. So what we do is we say, okay, let's let xy be any point on the line. Okay, so what we do now is we simply get the slope between xy and x1, y1, and that'll be y minus y1 over x minus x1, and that has to equal m. And so if I multiply both sides by x minus x1, what I get is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And this, very quickly, is known as point-slope form. And we can write it down immediately as long as we know a point, x1, y1, and we know the slope. And y and x are variables. That's what gives us the equation of the line. So here's a very simple example. We want to write the equation of a line that goes through a particular point and has a particular slope. So that's point-slope information. The equation is always going to be of the form y minus the particular y value is equal to 2/3 times x minus the particular x value. And that's it. And what's important to know here is that if all you were asked was to find the equation of the line, we stop right here. I know a lot of students want to try to put this into slope-intercept form, in other words, y equals. But what you see right here is a perfectly acceptable equation of a line, and there's no reason to keep going. If you keep going, you waste time, and you introduce the possibility of making a mistake. So always read the directions, and if it just says find the equation, this is a perfectly good equation. So I mentioned before that you read the directions, and in this particular case, we want to write the equation of a line given a point and a slope, but we want to write that equation in slope-intercept form. So it's a little bit more work. So what we'll do is we'll simply go through and we'll write this equation as y minus 3 is equal to minus 1/2 times x minus 4. Now that is point-slope form. But to put it in slope-intercept form, what I need to do is solve it for y. So I'll do a little bit of work here and write this as y plus 3 is equal to minus 1/2 x plus 2. See that? And so therefore y is going to equal minus 1/2 x, subtract 3 from both sides, and I get minus 1. So what I see here is slope is minus 1/2, and the y-intercept is minus 1. So it's a pretty easy way to graph. So as our last example, let's take a look here. We're given 2 points, and 2 points determine a line, And what we want to do is, given those 2 points, we want to write the equation of the line. So you should know that if we have 2 points, we can easily get the slope. So the slope is equal to the change in y, which is 6 minus 7, over the change in x, which is minus 4 minus 5, which gives us minus 1 over minus 9, or 1/9. So there's my slope. So now I can use my point slope form. And the thing that's really interesting is I have 2 points, so I can use either of those points. If I choose the first point, my equation will be y minus 7 is equal to 1/9 times x minus 5. And that's a perfectly good answer. But I could also have written it using the other point as y minus 6 is equal to 1/9 times x minus a negative 4. And each of these may not be immediately obvious, but this equation and this equation are exactly the same. And if you took the time and put them into slope-intercept form, you'd see that they are exactly the same. And that's how you write the equation of a line given 2 points. And so finally, to summarize the different forms of a straight line, standard form just looks like ax plus by equals c, something like 2x minus 3y is equal to 12. Slope-intercept form is where y equals something, so y is equal to 2/3 x minus 5. And if it's written in that form, we know that the y-intercept is minus 5, which means it goes through the point 0, minus 5, and the slope is 2/3, which means we go up 2 and right 3. And finally, point slope form is, in that form, y minus a particular y value is equal to the slope times x minus a particular x value. Let me just do some really quick work here for you. If we take, for example, y equals 2/3 x minus 5, and I want to graph it. So here's minus 5. And then I go up 2 and right 3. And there's another point, and there's my line. If my point slope form was something like y minus 2 is equal to, let's say, 1/2 times x minus 3, well, what that tells us is that we go through the point 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we go through the point 3, 2, and the slope is 1/2, which means we go up 1 and right 2, and there's my line. So it's important to see how you do those two things too. Okay, see you next time.